Hi, everybody. My name is Lee McQueen, and I'm chiming in on the presidential race, the primary race for the president for 2016. And like everyone else, I'm closely watching the action amongst the front runners, and I have concerns, like everyone else. My recommendation for this primary season and even the general election, after having seen all these events unfold, a lot of things have really crystallized to the point that they cannot be ignored. And I am recommending that everyone in the United States vote for the greater good rather than the lesser evil. Vote for greatness instead of lesser. Um, Third parties are not spoilers. They are not spoilers. They are not spoilers. Despite what mainstream media, which is controlled by our major corporations, and therefore are not unbiased, in fact, they are very biased and often outright lie and mislead the public. Third parties are not spoilers. Once upon a time, and I'm speaking to Republicans now, if you are a Republican person and you are listening to this video, I'm talking to you. Once upon a time, the Republican Party was a third party in North America. Um, Republicans, don't you remember who you used to be? From this third party emerged Abraham Lincoln, who freed almost every slave in North America, except the criminals, who remain to this day slaves to the state. It's in the 13th Amendment. That's not a metaphor. They are slaves. But my question for the Republicans, and then people who want to believe that third parties are spoilers, I want to know, was Abraham Lincoln a spoiler? And if he was a spoiler, what did he spoil? Did Abraham Lincoln spoil slavery for the American antebellum South? Did he spoil slavery? Was he a spoiler? Well, then good. It needed to be spoiled, right? The answer to that question is yes. Slavery needed to be spoiled. Abraham Lincoln rose from a demand by people who did not want slavery to continue or even be expanded in North America. There was overwhelming demand to crush this institution, and it took a third party to do that since it was so thoroughly soaked into the creation of North America. In fact, by the time Lincoln had come along, 300 years of slavery, and almost 300 years of slavery. And it was so much a part of the American economic system that it was deeply entrenched, and so there was resistance to ending it. The third party rose and spoiled that institution, and it needed to be spoiled, and therefore that was a good thing. Thank you, Abraham Lincoln. Thank you, Republicans. Um, so, progressives, now I'm speaking to you. If you're listening to this video, the Democrat Party is not the party for progressives. I've already made an entire video outlining the reasons why. Progressives, the Democrat Party is not your party. They don't want you. They don't like you. They want you to be quiet and be silent and remain in the margins. They don't want you. Review history. Know your history or repeat your history. And the history of progressives inside the Democrat Party is one of subjugation, abuse, and at times outright hatred. That's how the Democrat Party treats progressives. We can go back to John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, George McGovern, Eugene McCarthy, Ted Kennedy, Gary Hart, Jesse Jackson, Jerry Brown, Bill Bradley, Howard Dean, Bernie Sanders. How are progressives in the past treated by the Democrat Party? How are they being treated in recent history? How are they being treated today? Look at how the Democrat Party has treated Bernie Sanders. Is that a welcoming spirit? Is that a spirit of inclusion? Is that a spirit of progressiveness by the Democrat Party? Or is it exclusion, subjugation, marginalization, smothering of dissent? Um, you can decide for yourself. I've already decided for myself because it's happened too many times where someone has tried to rise up and recover the United States from its lurch to the far right. And they've been marginalized, humiliated, excluded, ostracized. And that's how the treatment of progressives has continued, even within the Democrat Party. We're not talking about in the general election or even across the aisle. Within the Democrat Party, that's how they've been treated. And we can even look not beyond the presidential level to even state level, where Cynthia McKinney and Donna Edwards were drummed out of their congressional seats because of their progressiveness, did not win approval of the Democrat leadership. And I'm saying that if you want to do further research on those names that I've thrown out, then please, by all means, educate yourself on how the Democrat Party has treated progressives within its party, and to understand the reasons why we're seeing what we're seeing occurring with Bernie Sanders today. And I'm going to go through a few lists, a few values, about 10, that are considered progressive. And as I name them, just ask yourself, is this the Democrat Party? Does the Democrat Party behave in this way? Are they true to these values? If you are progressive, ask yourself that. Grassroots democracy. Every human being deserves a say in the decisions that affect their lives and not be subject to the will of another. That's Democrat Party. Social justice and equal opportunity. All persons should have the rights and opportunity to benefit equally from the resources afforded to us by society and the environment. Is that the Democrat Party? Ecological wisdom. Human societies must operate with the understanding that we are part of nature, not separate from nature. We support a sustainable society which utilizes resources in such a way that future generations will benefit and not suffer from the practices of our generation. Is that the Democrat Party? And when I say the Democrat Party, I am also saying is that the Democrat Party under the leadership of Hillary Clinton. Think back to her debates, her statements in interviews, her media appearances, her town halls, her responses when questioned on issues, even by ordinary citizens. How did she react? How did she react to the question about fossil fuels, about fracking, about NAFTA, about jobs? Is that the Democrat Party under Hillary Clinton? Nonviolence. I'm sorry. But, anytime, any place, anyone, for any reason, warmongering under Hillary Clinton, nonviolence. But, we recognize the need for self-defense and the defense of others who are in helpless situations. But it's important to work to demilitarize and eliminate weapons of mass destruction without being naive about the intentions of other governments. But then, there are alternatives from a platform of unending, unceasing, anytime, any place, anyone, for any reason, violence. Decentralization of wealth and power. This contributes to social and economic injustice. Centralization of wealth and power contributes to social and economic injustice, environmental destruction, and militarization. And so there is an alternative of restructuring social, political, and economic institutions away from a system that's controlled and mostly benefits the powerful few to a democratic, less bureaucratic system. Is this the Democrat Party under Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders? Community-based economics and economic justice, feminism and gender equity. And think very carefully before you answer this question. I created a video regarding Hillary Clinton and her treatment of women in the past. Any woman who stands in the way of her acquisition of power, influence, money, and career advancement. How has she treated these women? And I'm talking about the little girl, the rape victim, whose attacker she defended, and how she attacked the little girl's credibility as a witness in order to defend her client. Was that an example of feminism? She was that person's lawyer, but she attacked a little girl in order to win the case. And there was also questions about mishandling of evidence in the lab, and then mishandling of the polygraph given to the rapist. So I think that was about career advancement. But we can go even further. Juanita Broderick, Kathleen Wiley, Jennifer Flowers, Monica Lewinsky, Michelle Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Carolyn Kennedy, Susan Sarandon, Rosario Dawson, Tulsi Gabbard, Nina Turner, on and on and on, Elizabeth Warren. How were these women treated by Hillary Clinton? Did she treat these women as a feminist would, or as an enemy who needed to dominate and marginalize and silence these women because they threatened her acquisition of career advancement, power, and or money and influence? Respect for diversity, personal and global responsibility, future focus, and sustainability. Think very carefully about how the Democrat Party has behaved this entire primary season with regard to corporate money by large businesses who are anti all of these sustainability, global responsibility, citizenship. Ask yourself, is the Democrat Party the manifestation of these things when they're so focused on acquiring money from businesses who are anti these things? The United States has, and by the way, most of those tenets that I read, they are actually tenets of the Green Party. So if you're progressive, ask yourself, go through that list. Excuse me. Go through that list of 10 values of the Green Party and ask yourself, if this is what you want, why are you looking for it in the Democrat Party where it doesn't exist? The United States has lurched so far to the right that it doesn't even resemble a modern nation anymore. It almost resembles a feudal state. Or a fascist state with controlled media, corporate use of law enforcement, and smothering of dissent, smothering of debate. Hillary Clinton does not want to debate Bernie Sanders on the issues as it relates to citizenship, environment, healthcare, education, corporate influence in politics, and even corporate control, really, of politics. Nor does she want Bernie Sanders to debate Donald Trump. And when I say Hillary Clinton, I mean the Democrat Party, because based on the fundraising arrangement between Hillary Clinton's campaign, where she went out and gathered up a whole big trough of money from Wall Street and then brought it back to the Democrat Party, she began to control the Democrat Party at that point because she controls the money in the Democrat Party. They have to get their fundraising for other campaigns from Hillary Clinton. And so we can say is that might be one manifestation of a type of smothering of debate and dissent. If Hillary Clinton's running the Democrat Party and she says no one gets to debate, then no one gets to debate. She doesn't want Bernie Sanders to debate Donald Trump. Clinton wants to shut down all dissent, any threat to, which is because dissent is a threat to her acquisition of power. That is what the lesser of two evils has brought to America. We've gone from the party of the Republicans who were the ones who were responsible for the rise of Abraham Lincoln and the freeing of the slaves. We've gone all the way up through the years to Hillary Clinton, who doesn't want to do anything except get more money. That's the lesser of two evils. The lesser of two evils is an incompetent, warmongering, idiotic, poorly qualified money grubber who serves as an avatar for any corporation that can afford to rent space in her head. This is a candidate who lost both West Virginia, which is ultra-right and conservative, and then went on to lose Oregon, which is ultra-left and progressive. She lost the ultra-right state and the ultra-left progressive state. When those two factions in North America can agree by a landslide that they would rather have Bernie Sanders than Hillary Clinton as their representative, that tells you a lot. What else would they agree on but that? No matter how much the Democrat Party has tried to ram Hillary Clinton down everyone's throats, people see her for what she is. She is the very embodiment of all that's wrong in America today. Everything. You can look at Hillary Clinton and there's a piece of it right there, either in her character, her background, her experience, her statements. It's there. If the Democrat Party dares to deny Bernie Sanders the nomination for president, which we don't know what's going to happen with that, with all the backroom deals and negotiations, and you can have this, but you can't have this, and we'll do this, but you can't have this. Who knows how that's going to play out? But if the Democrat Party does deny Bernie Sanders the nomination for president for the Democrat Party, I believe that is the clearest signal that the United States is an oligarchy. It's confirmation that the United States is an oligarchy and not a democracy. That will be the signal, the unmistakable signal that it's time to spoil. Just as Abraham Lincoln spoiled, it'll be time to spoil again. Our jobs, our lives, our environment, our health, our education, our safety as a sovereign nation, our troops, our military, their lives are all at stake. And we'll know based on what the Democrat Party decides to do. It cannot be ignored. It is time to spoil some things. We need to spoil corporate control of the political process. It's time to spoil corporate control of media and communications, corporate control of our law enforcement, corporate control of our criminal justice system, corporate control of our environment and the poisoning of our environment, corporate control of education, healthcare, social services, everything. Once the Democrat Party does what it seems to think it wants to do to Bernie Sanders, then we know it's time to spoil. Conservatives, ultra right, Republicans, if you don't like what you're seeing in your party, um, probably the Republican Party is not what it used to be. Well, clearly, it's not probably, clearly, it's not what it used to be. You might have to spoil the Libertarian Party, liberals, progressives on the left. If you do not see what you like from the Democrat Party, it is time to spoil. Spoil with the Green Party. You have alternatives. It's just a matter of going out on faith, finding your hope, your change, keeping hope alive, feeling the burn, and spoil. And I have said in the past, and I am Team Bernie Sanders. I feel the burn, and I am Bernie or bust in some respects. If Bernie Sanders is denied the Democrat nomination, I will not vote for any ticket that contains Hillary Clinton or even Joe Biden or any substitute that they're thinking of. If they deny Bernie Sanders the nomination, my vote will go to Jill Stein. Whether she can win the presidency, I don't know. It's all been very unpredictable this year. But I do think that it's important to build on third parties because the two parties that exist have failed us. And when I say failed us, I'm looking at Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump to some extent, but mostly Hillary Clinton. If this is the best that the two existing large parties can come up with, then they're incompetent and they need to be spoiled. If this is the best that they can do, then it's time to go third party. And so my vote will go to Jill Stein, and also with the hope of building up the Green Party, which has a platform for progressives, those 10 values that I read out, and getting more ballot access to challenge the Democrat Party and the rest of the electorate to bring the United States from the far right, where it has drifted, driven by corporate interests, back to center, even. If we can just get the United States back to center from where it's drifted to the right, I think it's a country where we can move forward as a people and function much better than we're functioning now. So there's hope. Beyond the lesser evils, there's hope. Beyond the two lesser evils lies the greater good. We can get there. We just have to try.